right, welcome back. In the last tutorial, we covered some of the basics of signals and slots and QT, and kind of how to get around in the editor a little bit. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about a couple of very special widgets. We've already looked at buttons and labels, and we're going to move on to something a little more sophisticated. We're going to look at list boxes and tables in this video. We'll also be looking at edit boxes at some point in time, and possibly even in this one, depending on how much time we have. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new project, and application QT widget application. We'll choose that, and I've got to browse to my location here in this and here, and we called that one. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it tutorial 2, and we'll select that. Okay, so that's in the right folder, and we'll call this 2-2- lists and tables, and we'll still use QMake. That's all fine. That's fine. That's fine. No, don't add it to the Git repository. I'll do that externally. Okay. Same thing as before. Real basic stuff. We're just going to work within right within the main window on this one. Just to keep it simple. And so let's set up a very simple UI. Let's start right off with this. First of all, we're going to need a couple of push buttons. Well, we'll start with one push button, not two. And I'm going to call this add to list btn, and we'll go in here and we'll call this add to list. Okay, and let's come down here and find a list widget. Where are they? They in with, that's a list view. I don't want that. List widget. Here we go. Here's a list widget. All right, we'll put it right under this button. Just pull it down a ways here, and we'll give this a name. We'll call this the items list. Okay, very simple. And again, we will right click, go to slot, and select clicked. Okay, and this one's real simple. If you remember, we added controls into our window. The code base doesn't know about those controls until some auto generation runs. The easiest way to do that here is click build. Down here in the lower right hand corner, you see the build progress. Build is complete. We can now go UI pointer. What do we call it? Items list. There it is. Items list pointer, add item, and for now we'll just say item, because we're going to add an editable text box in a moment here that we'll get the text from. And so let's run it and see what happens. Now if we click add to list, item, 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 item. Now list boxes are really nifty when you have very simple information you want to display. Let's do a little bit more with this. Let's move this up some. We'll move this down a tiny bit. Actually, let's move this over here, and we'll go to text box, check box list. Why am I not seeing text box? Comma box, text edit. That's what it's called here. Okay, let's put it. Whoa, why is that so big? Text edit. Did we want text edit? I'm going to delete that for a moment and see. Line edit, that's what we wanted. Let's put line edit right here. Let's make this a tad bit bigger. We can use up a little bit more of the screen here. I'm going to put something over here on the right so we can actually make our window a little wider. That'll be nice. Okay. Make this a little bit wider. Pull this over to here and give you a nice text box to type into. And then what will we call this? We will call this item text. And let's go back to our on-click handler here. Go to slot, clicked OK. So we're going to want to get that text. So let's do this because we want to check some things. Let's go screen text Q string item equals UI pointer item. What did I call it? Oh, it's not going to be there because we didn't build. So we got to build so that all our new control is available to us. UI pointer item text pointer get text. No, it's just text. There it is. So that gets it into a Q string. And let's say that if item dot length is greater than 0, we'll add it here. So come here and we'll go item, add the item. All right, let's run that and see what happens. So if I just click add to list, nothing's going to happen. But if I type something in, this is an item, and click add to list, there it is. I can click in, type in something, I can get help, and it adds it to the list items. Now we could also make it when this is when this box is empty, this thing is grayed out. There's ways of doing that, but I'm going to bother with that right now. That's plumbing stuff. We'll pick up on those things as we move along here, building different kind of UI constructs. And right now I just want to keep it simple. So let's take a look at another kind of way of displaying information, and that is a table. So a table is something that could have multiple fields in it, multiple columns in it. So let's go down here to if I can find it, here's the table view. So let's take this over here and we'll put the table view right here. Now there's some things about the table view that we need to configure, and that's all the way down here at the bottom. You'll find in this properties, so this section here is specific to Q table view. This section here is an abstract view and so forth, and a Q frame and all that. So if we come down in one of these, there's actually the number of columns. Q object. Why is it coming up Q object? Q widget. Q frame. How come I'm not seeing Q table in here? Did I grab the wrong one? Oh, I grabbed a Q table view. I don't want to work with those right at the moment. I'm going to delete that. We'll get into that, the different kinds of views that you can create. I selected table view under item views. I wanted item widgets. I wanted table widget. We're going to deal with the simple, straightforward one right now. We'll get into the other stuff later. All right. So now with that selected, we can collapse some of these things. And here's our Q table widget, which is what I want. You see here it says row count and column count. So these are it's kind of a fixed system. So let's create a row count of 5. Well, no, we'll make it 20. Nope, that's oh yeah, it does have a scroll bar. So we'll give about 20 items in this, and we'll give it a column count of 2. And now we can go, I believe, in here, and no, we can't. I thought we might be able to increase the widths of those. We might. That's the header. Horizontal header. Okay, well, we'll come back to that. For now, we've got our two columns here. All right, let's hit the compile button over here. Oh, first let's add a push button over here. Where will we put it? Let's reduce this a little bit so we got some room. And we'll do something a little bit more fancy. We'll put this button here. We'll put a label. I lose track in this long list. There's a label. We'll put a label, and we'll say this, first name. Come on. First name. We'll put a line edit right there. And we'll pull this out. We'll put another label. Move it over a little bit. Oh. Last name. And another line edit. Right about there, I think. And then we'll call this add, I don't know, add user or something. And we'll call this the add user BTN. We'll call this the first name. We'll call this, oh, not that one, this one. Yeah. And then this one, we'll call it last name. Did I get those right? Let me see if I'm lining these up properly. Probably not. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. So that's called first name. That's called last name. And let's go to here, go to slot, clicked, OK. And then on add user button. Okay. Now we need to add something up here. We need to add include Q table widget item. And down here we're going to create a Q widget Q table widget item. I keep fat fingering some keys here, and we'll call this first name equals new Q table widget item. And what are we going to put in there? We're going to put in UI we got to build so that all those fields and buttons and everything show up in our code. Okay. What we're going to put in there is, come on, UI pointer first name pointer text. And we'll just copy this. L name. And this will become last name. Now the thing is, kind of working with this raw table in this way, we're going to have to place this in a particular row and column. So if we're just adding users to it, what we're going to do is keep track of the row that we're on. So we'll come up here and we'll just create int row equals 0. Go back to here, And now what we need to do is go UI pointer. What did I call it? Did I mess up and call it wrong? Let's go back to here. Did I give it a name? It's still just called table widget. So we'll call this users table. And we'll compile. I should remember to hit that compile button whenever I'm done doing something with the UI, because when we go back here, the IntelliSense in this simply will not recognize certain things if you haven't compiled. So UI pointer, user table pointer, and we're going to do set item, and we need a row and a column. Well, the row, we're going to use row, and for the column, in this case, we're going to use 0, and we're going to put in fname. And we'll just copy this, and this will be 1, and this will be lname. And then we're going to go row plus plus. And that should work. We should be able to add users. Let me take a look. Did I lname? Last name, first name, yeah. So last name, our first name we'll say is Bob. Bundy. Add user, and there's Bob Bundy. We'll make it Michelle. Let's spell Michelle correctly. Michelle. Gambino. And there it is. And so we're adding rows and columns to a table. Now, you know, we need to be concerned about more than this, and especially when dealing with a table. Though this does scroll, we're kind of fixed. We can keep adding this same user until we get down to 20, and once 20 is filled up, you notice it's not adding any more rows or columns. So I believe add rows, resize rows to contents, select rows, row span, rows inserted, rows to be removed, row height, row moved, row resized, rows inserted, insert row, row. What we could, I believe, do is if row is greater than UI pointer user table pointer row count, row count, then insert row, and move this up to before we do this, and that's going to be greater than equal to, and let's see if that allows us to keep adding additional rows. So we'll Bob Baker, and I'm just going to add him a whole bunch of times here. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom so I can see 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Now we're up to 24, 25, 27. Yep, so we can very simply just add more rows that way. So we can have an initial set of rows added in here, and then we can add rows as they're needed. And there's, of course, ways to delete rows and everything else. You can go through the documentation on that and see what it is, but that's how you would set up a very simple UI. This is an item. And we can add that a whole bunch of times. We can change it to some gobbledygook. There we go. So let me see where we are here. We're at 20 minutes. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. If you really liked it, hit that like button. And if you want to subscribe, we really love subscribers. In fact, I'm very excited about how many we've been getting lately, and that keeps growing. So please subscribe and follow the channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.